I've been doing this for 31 years. My son wants to take over. I don't know if I trust him yet. I don't know what the business is worth, and I don't know who I am if I'm not the owner. Where do I even start?
You've named three separate problems and called them one. Start by separating them because they require different answers and different timelines. First, is your son capable of running what you built? That's a competence question, and it has nothing to do with trust yet. It has to do with whether he understands the choke points, the margins, the dependencies that keep this thing alive. Second, what is the business actually worth? That's a valuation question. And it matters because it determines whether you're talking about a succession or a liquidation or something in between. Third, who are you without it? That's the one that will kill you if you don't answer it before you hand it over. Most men don't. They hand over the business and discover they've handed over their identity, and then they either sabotage the handover or they die of purposelessness. You need to know which of these three is actually the constraint before you move.
I'd push back on Vanderbilt slightly. The valuation question is not separate. It's the frame that forces you to think clearly about the other two. When you know what the business is worth, you know what you're actually giving away and what you're actually keeping. That number tells you whether your son is inheriting a position or a burden. I built everything I had, and I never sold a piece of it. But I also never confused the business with myself. The business was the machine that generated the position. You need to know, are you handing him the machine, or are you handing him the debt and the obligation? Because those are different inheritances entirely.
Both of you are right, but you're missing the capital discipline question. Before you hand anything to your son, you need to know what your own liquidity position looks like after the transition. If you give him the business and you have nothing, you have no room to maneuver if he runs it into the ground. You also have no ability to say no if he asks for a bailout. The man who preserves capital preserves optionality. Get the business valued by someone who has no stake in the answer, then decide what portion do you keep, what portion do you give him, what do you keep liquid. Those questions come before the emotional ones about trust and identity.
You're asking whether he's ready, but you haven't asked whether you're ready to let go. Those are different questions. I've seen men hand over their businesses to sons who were perfectly capable and watch the fathers undermine them because the fathers couldn't stop being the owner. That destroys both the business and the relationship. If you cannot live cheaply and simply without the title, you will sabotage this. That's not a moral failing, it's a structural problem. You need to know before you start. Can you walk away? Can you actually not be in the room making decisions? If the answer is no, don't start the process. Sell it instead. At least then you'll have capital and clarity.